on with CBI?
You ain't back on shit. A kid. Man, D-Mac is a killer.
Get me Egan's every move.
I've done everything you asked.
Not everything.
I'm getting back on my bad bitch.
Tommy's a psychopath. I have one more card to play.
Oh, D-Mac is definitely in a lot of trouble, that's for sure, but so is Diamond. Episode 4 will be one where Tommy will no doubt try to protect D-Mac, but we know it's going to be to no avail. Eventually, when and if Tommy is kicked out of the CBI, or when D-Mac eventually loses JP, we are going to see him bringing him into the game. But as each episode passes by, we are getting closer. With Diamond, Tommy's definitely going to have a lot of questions for him, that's for sure. Now, episode 4 is going to be a lot more than just Tommy, D-Mac and Diamond. There's the angle within law enforcement. We all know Detective Seng has now entered the frame. Stacey Marks will definitely be under big pressure to deliver, which naturally means she pushes this onto Vic Flynn. We also have Claudia in jail, and also the angle of Elise. Shanti will be making a return after she was missing in episode 3, and there was also an exclusive clip released between her and Jenard. Another exclusive clip with El Shay's return as well, and there is also Tommy and Diamond making some moves in the streets. Now, at the time of this particular recording, the exclusive images haven't been released as of yet this week, but there are a couple of exclusive clips to run through, so that's going to be the agenda for this particular preview, for all things Power Book 4 Force, Season 3, Episode 4. Now, the title of Episode 4 is Time to See the King, and the synopsis reads, Tommy finds a way to protect D-Mac, and Jenard mends fences to please Shanti.
You out here making solo moves, Jay.
I made a judgment call. In the heat of the moment, that's it.
What's gonna happen the next time Big D wants something from you?
Now, this was an exclusive that was uploaded by No Label, so I will link the video down below in the description section. But we've got Shanti and Jenard in conversation at her gym, with Shanti not exactly in the best of moods. In episode 2, she told Jenard to get closer to Diamond, gain his trust, and that's how we're going to start to get closer and get that meeting with El Shay. But she's now accusing him of making solo moves. Now, this probably actually stems from the fact Jenard and Diamond came up with a plan to have D-Mac attack the 9/7s. Shanti and Jenard's original plan that Shanti came up with back in episode 1 was to keep D-Mac alive for 2 or 3 more weeks, starve King Kilo, make it look like it was Tommy and Diamond who were protecting him, and then set King Kilo on the top of the CBI's hierarchy, because that's what Shanti wants. She wants a regime change. And we are going to see Shanti making some moves in episode 4. It looks like we are going to see her approaching maybe some new players, or maybe some former crews that she knows, so she definitely is going to be making her own moves. But she wants Tommy and Diamond gone. She even says in this exclusive clip that she wants the heads removed. And she asked Jenard the question whether he wants the same thing. But we know he doesn't. I think he really does love Shanti. I think he does appreciate everything that she did for him back in season 2 when he did become a drug addict. But you can tell as each episode passes by that Jenard's doubts are growing and growing, especially when it comes to getting rid of Diamond. Getting rid of Tommy, I mean, that's no problem. He's been wanting to do that ever since season 1. We as the audience know he's never smoking Tommy, but we all know he'd love to, that's for sure. But Diamond, their relationship has changed ever since their pops died around the halfway mark of season 2. I think eventually Jenard will flip on Shanti, and he's probably going to be the one who ends up getting rid of her, which Chris Lofton actually did speak about on The Breakfast Club a while ago. I think we went through that quote in one of my breakdowns, I believe it was in my episode 2 breakdown, and you can tell they're now beginning to build that foundation and friction between the two, after their relationship was like this back in episode 2. And the cause and start of it is Jenard making that move with Diamond to get rid of D-Mac. That was Shanti's plan. In a way, you can actually see a lot of similarities with Jukebox, both the younger and older Jukebox in Raising Kanan and also in Power. When they made a plan, you stick to the plan. It was always her plan and her orchestrating the chess moves, her plan, her moves, you stick to the plan. Very Jukebox-like from Shanti, and I can definitely see where they're going with her character. But again, it also leads me to the question, does her fate end up with her being killed by someone she loves as well? Kanan no doubt loved Duke, but we all saw what he did back in Power. Same thing for Jenard. He loves Shanti, but the game is the game. And blood is also thicker than water. Shanti said it herself back in episode 2. But that's the exclusive between Shanti and Jenard. Over to the exclusive between Tommy, El Shay, Diamond, and Miguel Garcia.
I meant what I said when I told you I didn't want a war in these Chicago streets. If this mess interferes with my business, you'll pay.
Now, in episode 4, we are going to see the return of El Shay. Tommy and Diamond will drop 2 big bags of cash, and they have thrown in a bit extra for the inconvenience of what they've recently been up to in the streets. That's the war with the Marquez cartel. Che made it explicitly clear back in season 2 he didn't want a war with the Marquez cartel, because a cartel war, that's something that can definitely escalate all the way back to Mexico. And it's actually something I wouldn't mind seeing more of in Power, seeing more of the cartel element. For example, what were the ins and outs of Felipe Lobos' organization? How did he rise to power inside a Mexican cartel? That's something Power have never really explored, and I guess it would be quite a new fresh take. So let's see what they've got planned for future spin-offs. But in terms of Tommy and Diamond's future, Che wants them to stop the war in the streets, which I do think is going to prove to be a bit difficult. Once you start a fire with a Mexican cartel, it's damn near impossible to put out. And we know Roberto Ortega will be hitting back, that's for sure. And that's also thanks to Miguel Garcia. Miguel might be sucking up to Che in this clip, but behind his back, he's still trying to get rid of Tommy. And he also said he wouldn't mind flipping over to working for the Marquez cartel. You add it in with the secret of him killing Che's son, I do think they are building up to something big here with Che's return. I think the foundation's already started to be laid earlier on, but with Che's return in episode 4, I do think we are going to start to see them dropping a few more breadcrumbs. Che is pretty angry with Tommy in this scene, even though he didn't let it affect their pay schedule. So what do you guys think Che will do to Miguel when he finds out he's been trying to kill one of his biggest earners in Tommy Egan, and also planning to flip over to one of the Estrada cartel's rivals in the Marquez cartel? Miguel Garcia, in my opinion, is a dead man walking. He's playing a very dangerous game. There are no other ways to put it. When Che finds out, Miguel Garcia is a dead man. Now, elsewhere in episode 4, there's of course the situation with D-Mac. D-Mac will never stop trying to get back into the CBI and into the streets. He is street through and through, which I do think Tommy will eventually realize. Probably not in episode 4, but eventually he definitely will. There's also law enforcement. Stacey Marks will be pressing Vic Flynn, but so will Tommy from his end. But what Stacey needs to be very wary of is Detective Seng. I'm pretty sure he's a character who's going to be a lot more involved after it was revealed he was working for the Ortegas. I'm sure this is the episode where Elise will also be coming face to face with Tommy, with her mentioning that Tommy is a psychopath. But Claudia's response is she has one more card up her sleeve. Now what that card is, I did say it's very difficult to predict. To me, it looks like she's running out of options. But again, it is Claudia Flynn. We spoke about her character earlier in the week and how she's a cat with 9 lives. How she manages to always find a way to survive. I do think she's a character who will eventually get what's coming to her, definitely will, especially for Liliana's death. But I am pretty sure she's also got a few more moves up her sleeve before that day comes. We've also got Tommy and Diamond making some moves in the streets. Let's see whether this is a business move or whether it's a move to maybe to help protect D-Mac. And again, with Shanti, looks like she's making some moves and we may be introduced to maybe a new player or two. But with that being said, that's a wrap for the preview. We're going to keep it short, sweet, and to the point with this one, because unfortunately this week they haven't dropped those exclusive images at the time of this recording, but they did drop those couple of teasers. Whether that means it's a big one, I personally think they're building up to a big episode 5 with that being the big episode. We know season 2 episode 5 was a huge episode last season. That was when everything went down with the Flynns, Vic killing Walter Flynn, Claudia's betrayal. Gary Lennon's already teased that episode 5 will be a big episode, and I do think they're probably most likely going to go on a break after episode 5 as well. There's a Christmas and holiday period that's around the corner, so I do think episode 5 will be a big juicy episode. But no doubt, episode 4 will definitely be another great one. I've really been enjoying Force this season and the patient build up this season. One of my favourite moments is the great twist around Detective Seng and also what they've done with D-Mac's character this season. I really do believe he is becoming a bit of a fan favourite. And this season also does feel a lot more closer to OG Power than before. So let's see what they've got cooking in episode 4. Drop all your thoughts and predictions down below in the comment section. And as always, I will catch you guys back here for my breakdown for episode 4. But thank you guys for watching and I'll see you next time.